For our Danish dough, we need to prepare a base dough. Part of that process is mixing together our eggs and our butter and our yeast, which just goes straight in with a little bit of salt and sugar. Then we add the water, and we're just going to bring that together to make a light dough. The water content will vary just depending upon the size of the eggs, and it's also quite important that when we knead the dough, we don't need overwork the dough too much. This will make it quite difficult later on to actually pin out the pastry. You see here I'm just lightly kneading the dough, bringing it together. Probably needs just a couple of minutes really to bring it all together and start developing. Once we've developed the dough, we just put it into a lightly oiled bowl and into the fridge, and that'll help prove it a little bit. We take it out, and it's ready to now be pinned out and incorporate the butter into the dough or the pastry. We're going to incorporate the butter into the pastry through the English method. That's where we pin the dough out to a 3x1 rectangle, and then we grate the butter to soften it and spread it over 2/3 of the dough. And then, following this process here, we incorporate the butter. It's important not to fold the butter onto itself again, but to fold the piece of clear dough onto it. Now it goes back in the fridge just to rest briefly, just maybe 5 minutes in this situation. After it's rested, we pin it out, and we can now give it a double fold. You achieve that by folding it in half to find the centre, and then folding in both ends of the dough, and then again over on top of themselves. This is what we call a double fold or a full book fold, and again keeping it nice and square. It's really important that we keep it square so we get even lamination later on. We rest that, and it needs to have, after some time, about 30 minutes, what we call a single fold added to the dough. As you can see here, it's been pinned out 3x1 again, folded into thirds, keeping it square, which is really important for even lamination, and ensuring that none of the butter bursts through as well. Now we've had our what we call 3 folds. Doing a demonstration here on how to prepare a croissant. It's one of the dishes that you'll need, or one of the pastries you'll need to prepare as part of your assessment. Just trimming up the pastry. I'm going to take a triangle about the width of your hand and the length of your hand. We can make a wee nick in the back of it there. And we're just going to turn it around, and you notice how I turn over the ears and lightly stretch and pull the dough towards yourself. This way we achieve nice smooth dough, and it's in that traditional croissant shape. Pulling it around and just pinching the ends together. Then we'll just go onto a plain tray. Here we're going to be preparing a fruit-filled diamond. To prepare the diamond shape, we take a small square, and we know it's square because we fold it on top of itself from corner to corner, and that way we get the perfectly square result that we want. Folding it up and making 2 cuts, not quite through to the top of the diamond there, the point there, opening it up and folding the 2 sides on top of themselves. That's ready to go into the prover now. And here's the windmill, which is taking another square and cutting from the corners into the centre, and then taking the outside little piece and folding it in, and that's ready to go into the prover as well. Once that's on the tray or part of in the prover, you need to prepare some frangipane, or the almond and rum flavoured paste. Once the pastries have doubled in size, they're ready for baking. 190 degrees, and we should look for a nice golden colour on top. Probably take about maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Here's a selection of pastries that you'll need to prepare for your assessment. Here's a small video on myself making the pastry at our bakery in the early hours. The procedure is exactly the same, just the volume and the equipment is slightly different. You'll notice we use a pastry break there to prepare that dough. So here's some snapshots and just incorporating the butter again. The same method, that English incorporation method with the dough there, and giving it what we call a single fold. And once again, putting it back through the pastry brake certainly makes the job a lot easier using the pastry brake. And here we are giving it a double fold again to incorporate. Just seeing those nice layers there, there's no butter coming through, it's what you want. And then the dough's really ready for use. I hope this helps you in your assessment.